welcome back to my channel. I am Danielle, aka Stitcherista, here on YouTube, and today is going to be a face-to-face true crime story time. I'm off work today, but I was just like, you know what? I haven't done a face-to-face video besides my cross-stitch vlog in a while, so I thought, why not? Let's do it. And I even have notes because what transpired yesterday during the workday, I don't even have words. I'm trying to get my iPad set up here so I can, because I got some emails. I have a new Patreon, a new patron, Monet Dreams. So thank you so very much, whoever you are, Monet Dreams, for that. I appreciate my patrons and the people who join the channel and the people who buy me coffee so very much, just to support the channel and know that you're putting your hard-earned dollars towards me. The utmost appreciation. And then, of course, I have a daily stoic thing to read, which I'll read at the end. So we're going to have a chat, though, before I do the true crime story. So yesterday we had the arbitration. We had the arbitration Monday and Tuesday. I'm off today. We have a regular job tomorrow. And then Friday, we don't have anything on the calendar. And I think she's probably going to stay off only because we have the arbitration then 2 full weeks straight. So for the arbitration, we have 4 editors, including myself, and 2 proofreaders. One of the proofreaders doesn't normally work with us on a normal basis because our main proofreader, it's enough work and she can keep up with it and all of that. So the other proofreader is not used to our procedures. However, if I was working with someone that I didn't work with all the time, I would be taking notes because I have said things ad nauseum. I am a fucking broken record, saying the same things over and over and over and over and over. And it's frustrating when I find things that I know I have said, numerous times still being done. So yesterday morning, my boss did not invite us to the file right away, so that was a little frazzled in the beginning because she didn't invite us until like 3 or 4 pages in. And normally we're there at the beginning before the job even starts. So we get in there, we're going along, and it wasn't yesterday, was it? No, it was Monday when the one proofreader that we don't normally work with didn't show up for an hour and 45 minutes of the job. Yeah, I know I talked about that in my video on Tuesday, yesterday, I think. So we're going along, and the one editor that is a normal part of our team says, now, we're not even that far into the job. We're like at page 50. We do about 300 pages a day for the arbitration. So we're like at page 50. And she types in our group message, I have to take a call from my lawyer. Can someone take my section? Okay, so luckily I was already working on a section, so somebody else took it. But 3 people for the arbitration is sort of a hardship, only because it's just so much to do. So she was gone for a bit because we kind of got behind. And come to find out, and you guys don't know anybody that I work with. I've never said their names. This person got behind in their rent. And they got served an eviction notice. So they are dealing with that. And they had messaged me over the weekend and said, look, I have to go to court on the 12th, which is this next Friday. I can't work the arbitration. So luckily I was able to find someone to fill in. So that happened. And then she came back in. And I had actually messaged the person that is normally on our team. She had requested off yesterday. So I actually texted her because I didn't know if this person taking the phone call was going to come back, if she was going to be gone for 4 hours. I had no idea. And she was like, well, my plans fell through, so I'm here if you need me to come in. And I was like, oh, okay, I will let you know. So then we take the lunch break. And I said to the team, I am stepping away from my phone and the computer for this hour. I'm so thankful that they take an hour lunch every day of the arbitration because we need it. So when I came back, and I mean, I recorded the stitch with me during the lunch break, the 18 minutes of me stitching. So when I come back, I see I have an email because I put my phone on airplane mode so I don't get interrupted by phone calls or notifications or anything like that. I see I have an email from one of our backup people that was working with us, and she says her daughter is pregnant and having a medical issue and she's not taking it well. Can I have the afternoon off? I'm like, this is not happening right now. Of course, you can't say no. Luckily, I was able to contact the person that had been off and say, hey, so-and-so needs off the afternoon. Can you fill in? So she could, thank God. So then I had to call my boss and say, you have to invite so-and-so to the file. And she's like, huh, why? So then I have to explain it to her. And then I tell the team, look, so-and-so had an emergency. She's not working the rest of the afternoon. So-and-so's filling in. So we're going along, and it's like 4 o'clock my time, which means we still have 2.5 hours left of the arbitration because it goes until 6:30 p.m. my time every day. Take in mind everything that's already happened, right? The proofreader that does not normally work with us sends a message in the group message and says, oh, my phone just beeped and reminded me of an appointment that I forgot I had. Can someone read my sections for the rest of the day? What? And I said, there's only one other person that's proofreading. And I said, okay, so-and-so, can you take the rest of her sections? And she said, yes. And it prompted me to write an email to the team, copying my boss on it. And the title of it said, Concerns About the Arbitration. Because my thought is, if we all can't get our shit together, we are really coming up on the crux of this arbitration where we have it 2 weeks in a row, a week off, 3 weeks in a row. We can't, not that stuff can't happen, but for it all to happen in one day with 3 different people was a bit much for me. And so I said in the email, I have to be made aware, if possible, of course, of phone calls, appointments. I said, because if I'm trying to scramble and solve things while we're in the middle of a job, it makes it very, very stressful. So the team member that her daughter had an emergency, she emailed me privately and she said, I never mean to put you in a bind. She said, this job has actually been a saving grace for me because this woman lost her husband to cancer in June. And then I felt like a big giant asshole, but I didn't know that. And I was like, she said, you know, so doing this arbitration has really helped me. And I wrote her back and I said, I'm so sorry for the loss of your husband. I mean, that's only been a couple months, so I can't imagine what that feels like. And I said, I hope it gets all resolved with your daughter. And then, so the day ends, and because of all of this that happened, I wound up working an extra 20 minutes. So I didn't get done until almost 7:30, which means I have a half hour to spend with Bill. Yeah. I ate dinner that he had made. We had bought a chicken pot pie from Costco. So I ate that. We got in the hot tub. And then I actually laid in bed with him in his room. And we watched TV for like another half hour. Just so I could spend some more time with him because I hadn't seen him. And so I get up this morning. And I see, now I have access to my boss's email. And I don't think my team knows that. I wake up and I see an email responding to the email I sent to the team yesterday, but she didn't copy me. She only responded to my boss, and she's like, the proofreader. And she said, that's not a normal thing. I usually don't, exit out in the middle of a daily. I'm here for the rest of the arbitration. Well, I thought to myself, you fucking better be, because, and I had said in my email, we just need to get through these 2 months. Because I think my boss is going to take off. She's not going to take off the 5 weeks, I don't think. I think she's going to take off, though, like a week or two just for us to have a break after it. Are you kidding me right now with all that? I was so like, my brain was fried at the end of the day. And so I didn't even stitch. After I laid in bed with Bill and we watched TV, I went downstairs at like 8:30 and I was like, I'm too tired to stitch. So I didn't stitch at all last night. But in the middle of that workday, now mind you, remember my hair appointment had been switched. I had had my hair appointment last Friday. I was going to get more layers cut in and get some of it cut, and I was going to get it more blonde. I was going to get it lightened up. They called me on, my appointment was for 4:30. They called me that morning and said, so, your stylist isn't coming in. We need to reschedule your appointment. Okay. So I scheduled it for Saturday, November 13th. Yesterday, they call me and they say, oh, so-and-so's not going to be here on the 13th. We need to reschedule your appointment. And I said, when's the next Saturday? Because I need a Saturday. I can't come in the middle of a workday, especially not with the arbitration. And they said, oh, it's the middle of December. And I said, I'm not rescheduling. Cancel. I want to cancel the appointment outright. I'm not rescheduling. So I hung up and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? So now I got to find a new hairdresser. So I spent some time last night because there were a couple moments where I had like a 5-minute break. And I found this place online called Hair Rehab, and it's only like 15 minutes from the house. All the people look like they take care of themselves, that they fix their hair, that they look good. They're younger. Do you know what I mean? So it said in their contact thing, new clients, text this number, explain what you want, and I'll fit you with a stylist. So I did that. And what's nice about doing it by text, I was really able to explain my situation. Because when you call and you're talking to like an appointment person or a front desk person, I need to be telling my stylist everything, right? So I sent this big message. I sent pictures of what my hair looked like currently, what I wanted, the cut I wanted, all of that. Well, that was at like, I don't know, 11 or 12. And it's like 4 o'clock and Bill got home and I was telling him about everything. And I said, if they don't respond to me today or by tomorrow morning, I'm just going to keep looking. Well, the person did. They responded like a half hour after I talked to Bill. And she said, I've contacted a stylist. I'm going to have them contact you. And they did. They contacted me. They have an Instagram page. They've done some amazing color on people. They have an Instagram page. Like, if you want to go check out what I've done. And she's like, if you can send me pictures of the front of your hair, sides, back, pictures of what you want. So I did all that. We talked for a couple minutes. And I have an appointment with her on November 13th at 10:30. Fingers fucking crossed, because I need someone who I can rely on. And I explained to her in the text, I said, my last hairstylist canceled 2 of my appointments and I'm done. I'm done with that. Like, I can't do it. Yeah. Okay. So all of that transpired yesterday. And I've had a couple of you say, oh my God, your work situation like gives me anxiety. Yeah, it gives me anxiety too. Yeah. So I had someone, that's all the notes that I had, because I wanted to make sure I remembered all of that. I had someone comment and say, Bill and I seem to have a really good relationship. Why do we have separate bedrooms? And they're like, please don't block me. And they also said, I know not everyone doesn't have children, but why did you not have children? These are 2 topics, and I said in the comment, I said, I'll talk about it in the next, true crime video. I said, because I have addressed these topics many times, but I've realized that people coming in, if you haven't watched a lot of my videos, you're not going to see that. So, the bedroom thing. The first 3 years of mine and Bill's relationship, we did sleep in the same bed. Bill snores horribly, or he did. He doesn't so much anymore, but he did. And it was to the point where I was getting 0 sleep, and I wound up every night getting up in the middle of the night, going in my stepdaughter's room and sleeping in her room, because my bedroom currently was a spare room downstairs that we had all of the stuff that we took from his mom's house when she passed. and we cleaned out her house, we had all that stuff in there. And so it was just boxes and totes, and it wasn't a bedroom per se. So it got to be dire. Like, I was just evil because I wasn't getting sleep. I was tired of going into my stepdaughter's room and sleeping there every night. And finally we sat down and talked, and he said, you know, let's clean out that room downstairs. We'll set that up as your bedroom. Okay. And I mean, we've been together almost 13 years now. And so we've had separate rooms for, it's been like 10 years. It's been a long time. And, you know, when people first hear that, they think something's wrong. And, you know, that's society. That's society saying you have to sleep in the same bed as your husband or your marriage is on the rocks, right? Nothing could be further from the truth. First of all, we're used to it now, right? Bill likes, when I tuck him in at night, because I do, at 8 o'clock, I come up, I put lotion on his back, I give him a kiss, give him a hug, tell him good night. He watches what he wants on his TV for like 45 minutes, and then he goes to sleep. Because remember, he's in bed by like 8:45 because he gets up at 4:15 in the morning for work. Me having my own room, which by the way, you know, I can have a vanity, I have a dresser, I have all my artwork on the walls. I couldn't have a vanity in our current bedroom that we shared. There was no room for one. So it is like my sanctuary down there. I come up here and I'll stitch, and then I'll go down at like 9:30, 10 o'clock and watch what I want to watch, and I'm not bothering him. So I think the reason why people seem to, when you say you have separate bedrooms, automatically people think you're not having sex, right? And we can talk about it. We're all adults here, right? Let me tell you, that never deterred us. All someone needs to do is make a visit to the other's room. That's it. Because let's face it, most of the time you're spent in the bed with your spouse or significant other, you're sleeping anyway. Am I wrong? Yeah. So I see us never not having separate bedrooms. You know, if and when we decide to move out of this house, because we have talked about that, who knows? I don't know. Maybe down the road we will share a bedroom again. But we have gotten so used to having separate rooms and it working. And, you know, I'm not ashamed to mention that. My mom knows it. All of our friends know it. And it's so funny because one of our friends, when we will go to some parties, she'll say, Bill, you better be careful. You're not going to be able to knock on Danielle's door and get an answer. Meaning, you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm not ashamed by that at all. And funny, many of you, when I first talked about it, came forward and said, you do the same thing. You sleep in a separate room from your husband, and it doesn't mean that your marriage is, there's something wrong with it or whatever. And some people, like my mom, she's envious. She was like, oh my God, I would love to have my own room. Yeah, I love my bedroom. Yeah. Okay, so number one, that's out of the way. Then the no children thing. So Bill has a daughter from his first marriage. Bill's been married 3 times. I'm his third wife. He was married to his daughter's mother for 10 years, and they still have a very good relationship. We all get along. We all got along ever since I've been with him. The raising of his daughter has been a joint effort. You know what I mean? So that's always gone very well. I like his ex-wife. She's very nice. She's very successful. She reads books. She watches some of the same TV shows that I watch. I will admit though that when we get together with them, which given that Bill's daughter is 22 now, it's not like it was, but when we do, I'm never going to feel 100% comfortable. Her whole family on that side has accepted me, and they're all nice, and they all ask how we're doing and all that, because I mean, I've been with Bill now for 13 years almost. But you know, it's still, and it's just me. It's nothing that they've done. It's me, and the fact that, you know, she was his first wife, and she's the mother of his child, and those are just things that I'll never be. Do you know what I mean? So And Bill knows me by now. He knows that I have a little bit of social anxiety with things like that. I was married before Bill, and that person, now I got married very young. I was married when I was 23 until I was 28. And that husband also had a daughter from a first marriage, and when I was with him, she was only 5. So, I never wanted children. I never felt that maternal instinct or that pull to have children. And I was never with anyone that wanted another child. So the boyfriend that I had, because I was supposed to marry someone before my first husband. Boy, I've got some damn stories. I dated someone from when I was 16 all the way till I was a senior in college. And we were engaged when I was in college. And we were waiting until I graduated to get married. So, I mean, I was with this person, 6 years. And it was serious. We were engaged, and my whole family loved him, and he wound up cheating. And for me, cheating is a deal breaker. I've made that crystal clear to Bill. There's no going back, because I am never going to be the kind of person that feels like I can't trust you, because if you cheat on me, I'm not going to become the person that questions whenever you leave the house. Are you really going where you say? I'm not going to be the kind of person that's going to be tempted to check your phone. Yeah, no, I can't live like that. And I don't want to live like that, because no. So I don't care if I'm married to somebody for 20 years. You cheat, we're done. We're done. So we were done. I gave the person back that ring, and we were done. And I feel like, if him and I would have gotten married, I might have had children, because after that, I wasn't with people that wanted more children. My first husband never wanted another child, and Bill didn't want any more children. And by the time I was with Bill, I was 35 years old. I knew I wasn't having children by 35, and then once I got breast cancer and went through chemo, my doctor said it was slim to none that, I was going to have any children. And, yeah, so it just never happened. And, there have been certain little instances here and there where I think, I'm never going to know the love of a child, or what it feels like to love a child as a parent, because loving a stepchild is completely different than loving your own children. I've only been in her life since she was 10 years old. So it's very, very different. And sometimes I miss that. Like, I have that little pang, like maybe I should have had a child, but I don't regret any decision that I did in that regard. I'm a firm believer in that things are supposed to happen the way that they're supposed to happen. I do have my sister. I was there since she was born. She's almost 17 now. The one thing that I do think about, though, is getting older. Because, eventually my parents aren't going to be here. When my parents are gone, the only family I really will have left are my brother and my sister, and I'm not close to my brother. And I wouldn't expect my stepdaughter to take care of me when I got older if something happened, but you never know, right? So I think about that I am going to die alone. That is if Bill passes before me. And he's adamant that he's going to, which you can't fucking say that. You don't know, right? So yeah, all of that to say, I decided to never have children. Okay. So shoes. I got my shoes. I got my slip-on shoes in the mail yesterday, and I wanted to show you what they looked like. I'll link them down below. I got them from Amazon. They're very comfortable and warm. So here's what they look like. This is like suede. So there's there's inserts like in here. The inside is lined, and this is actually Velcro, so you can loosen or tighten it. Oh my God, I love them. I wore them all day. And they came from, the store is called Ortho Feet, but they were on Amazon. And so I ordered them from there. They were like 90 bucks. They weren't cheap. But what's nice is the sole is rubber, so I can wear them outside. Very warm, very comfortable for wearing in the house, because my podiatrist said I should be wearing something in the house at all times, except obviously when you're in bed sleeping. You shouldn't be walking around barefoot. And then today, just today, I got my Brooks tennis shoes in that I ordered. These were also 90 bucks. I got these from DSW Warehouse, and they fit good. So they're like navy and hot pink. And there's and then there's the bottom of it. I love that. You know me, I love like bright pink. But yeah, they're comfortable. I'll have to see when I wear them, you know, for a long period of time. But yeah, got all that yesterday. And I got a bunch of Christmas gifts in the mail yesterday too. And I'm just stacking them in a closet right now until we put up the Christmas tree, which we put up the Christmas tree the weekend after Thanksgiving. So I still have like another month before, then I'll have to have like, take a couple hours and be wrapping, which, oy. But yeah, I think that's all the things that I wanted to chat with you about. And now we can do the true crime story. Okay, so this story is called Hacked by Captain Midnight, and I don't remember when this happened at all. So HBO's live broadcast transmission was taken over in an act of video terrorism by a hacker named Captain Midnight, aka a frustrated satellite dish salesman from Florida. So for every hacker or superhero, there is an ordinary person behind the mask. For John McDougal, he just wanted to tell the world how changes in the TV industry were ruining his business and life. It wasn't long until his ordinary life would become extraordinary. Almost 3 years earlier, when he was 22, McDougal took an opportunity to live the American dream. He jumped on the bandwagon of the craze for satellite dishes and set up his own electronics retail business called McDougal Electronics in Ocala, Florida. His specialty was in satellite dishes that could be used to watch TV from across the nation, a boom that had begun as soon as the business opened. But by 1986, when McDougal was 25, the industry was dying. And it probably really is now with people streaming, you know, online. He would spend the days at his store tapping his feet, waiting for customers that never came. After almost 3 years in business, McDougal Electronics was struggling and the profits were beginning to disappear. The TV industry was changing and moving towards paid services. On January 15, 1986, HBO led the way and became the first paid TV service to scramble its signal. This meant that to watch HBO using a satellite dish, you had to purchase descramblers, which were expensive. The cost of descramblers, combined with multiple paid TV fees and the confusion surrounding the future of satellite dishes, meant that customers had stayed away from businesses like McDougal Electronics. As HBO was the first service to scramble the airwaves, McDougal targeted them. Okay. To keep his dwindling business afloat, McDougal worked part-time as an operations engineer at Central Florida Teleport, a company that provided uplinks to satellites. It presented the perfect location, training, and setup for how he could get back at HBO. One night, while working at the CFT, he stayed on after his shift had ended. As he was watching a movie in the background, a light bulb went off in his head. The building he was working in had 5 30-foot satellite dishes broadcasting signals across the country. He moved one of the dishes to broadcast to a satellite called Galaxy 1. On board that satellite was a transponder that carried the HBO feed for the entire eastern seaboard of the United States. Oh my God. He smiled to himself and accessed a text generator and color keyboard, though he didn't know what to broadcast. And he is quoted as saying, "I wanted to be polite. I didn't want it to be vulgar or call them names or anything. That's not my style." He had recently seen a film about a pirate radio station called Captain Midnight and thought it would be the perfect cover. He spent many minutes composing the message to ensure he made the most of the takeover. He pushed the transmit button on the console, and he is quoted as saying, "That's when I hit it. It was almost like an out-of-body experience. It was like I was there, but I wasn't really there." So at 12:32 a.m. on April 27th, 1986, I was only in 6th grade, so I wouldn't have remembered this. HBO viewers were halfway through a late-night showing of Falcon and the Snowman starring Sean Penn and Timothy Hutton. It is an espionage movie about, and what came up on the screen, it said, "Good evening, HBO from Captain Midnight, $12.95 a month? No way. Showtime movie channel beware." So that message stayed on the air to half of HBO's 14 million subscribers for almost 5 minutes. Though a temporary interruption for the audience, the satellite's owners, Hughes Communications, were already taking it seriously. Hughes had immediately noticed the jamming of the signal and threatened to move the satellite out of orbit under the belief they were being attacked by a domestic terrorist. Oh, wow. HBO's technicians conversed with Hughes, who said they had no explanation about what was going on. The answer was to regain control by increasing the uplink transmission power from 125 watts to 2,000 watts. However, in Florida, Captain Midnight, while eating a snack bar, moved the power up and down to disrupt the Hughes attempt at regaining control. The battle lasted for almost 2 minutes until McDougal realized the power fluctuations could result in a system failure. So he abandoned his post, went home, and hoped he wouldn't be caught, because I'm guessing that's like a federal offense doing that. And so he is quoted as saying, "I thought maybe I should turn myself in, but then I thought, well, let's be rational. Nobody's going to see it. Nobody cares. HBO will know. They'll get the message. They'll reconsider their arbitrary and unfair pricing, and maybe I'll read about it in a few months in satellite orbit." That's basically how I rationalized, not panicking, and went on with my daily routine that Sunday. Except when he turned on the TV the next morning, Captain Midnight was all over the news. You would be like, oh, fuck, right? So with a different mindset, McDougal could have accessed defense communications, medical information, telephone communications, teleconferences, or overtaken the HBO network for longer. But instead, he was a local business owner who saw his American dream drifting away from him and took his message to the airwaves. Still, the investigation into who Captain Midnight was involved the FBI and the FCC, which is the Federal Communications Commission. HBO reported to the FBI that Hughes Communications had threatened to move the satellite into a new orbit due to Captain Midnight. For that reason alone, the incident was treated with the highest level of importance and was noted as the first case of video terrorism. Oh my God. This guy's become famous now. Within 24 hours, Captain Midnight was the pun of jokes on the David Letterman show and other entertainment broadcasts. Even the U.S. Congress had become involved. The FCC stated there were over 2,000 transmitters across the country that could have jammed HBO's signal. Over the next 3 months, the FCC narrowed it down to 580 sites that had large enough antennas to broadcast the signal, and ultimately tracked down the specific character generator Captain Midnight had used. Oh my. In July 1986, after various people had come forward to confess that they were Captain Midnight, because of course they did, the investigation descended on the Central Florida teleport with U.S. Attorney Lawrence Gentile, and they headed straight for McDougal. And so Gentile asked McDougal, as he served him with the subpoena, "Captain Midnight, see you in court." Oh, damn. So McDougal took a plea deal and was found guilty of illegally operating a satellite uplink transmitter. He received a $5,000 USD fine, was put on unsupervised probation for 1 year, and had his amateur radio license suspended for 1 year. Despite his mellow character, McDougal became a hero to satellite dealers across the country. There was even a group called the Captain Midnight Grassroots Coalition, with dish owners and dealers banding together to sell merchandise and raise funds for McDougal's legal fees. Wow. This guy he would have had no idea the repercussions that this would have caused, right? So a spokesman for the Captain Midnight Grassroots Coalition is quoted as saying, While there are those who consider Captain Midnight a criminal for his unauthorized transmissions, there is another group made up of home satellite dish owners, small business people, and rebels who support his actions as a nonviolent and non-destructive protest in the best American tradition. 1 year later, the FCC and Congress required every transmitter to use an electronic name tag, which would leave a unique electronic signature when it was used. So you'd be caught then. They also made satellite interference a larger criminal offense, which could result in up to 10 years in jail. For McDougal and his alter ego, Captain Midnight, his one moment of fame had come to an end. He had never expected to change the course of satellite transmission security for the better. But he did. He changed history for sure. Wow. Okay. So let's read the Daily Stoic message from yesterday. So it is called, "If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready." It had been more than 2.5 years since Case Keenum had started in an NFL game. Many assumed his career, which was already 9 years old and spread across 6 teams, was over. There easily could have been a part of him that thought that too. So people were surprised when he performed so well under pressure in a Thursday night primetime game against the Denver Broncos, throwing for 200 yards and a touchdown without a turnover on the way to a Browns victory in the absence of Baker Mayfield, the team's starting quarterback and former #1 overall draft pick. How did he do it? How did he manage to get prepared on such short notice? He was quoted as telling a reporter after the game, "You don't have to get ready if you stay ready." He hadn't needed a flurry of last-minute, late-night film sessions because he had always been prepared. He didn't need to get in shape because he never got out of shape. He wasn't surprised. He had been expecting this exact contingency. In fact, it was his job to be prepared for this contingency. Marcus Aurelius talks about how the fighter is better than the fencer because the fencer has to pick up a weapon. A fighter is the weapon. Seneca reminds us that a blow we are ready for is not much of a blow at all. And Epictetus says that the whole point of philosophy is to be able to reply to adversity with one thing. This is what I've trained for. Life has twists and turns in store for all of us. Our job is to be ready, or rather, our job is to not fall out of readiness. Our job is to keep training. It's to anticipate, it's to have a plan, so that when the unexpected comes, it's not unexpected at all. We're ready. We can step up and do our job like a trusty journeyman, like a veteran. That's easier, obviously, said than done. You can try to prepare for anything and everything, but I think in life, sometimes there are things you cannot possibly prepare for. Me getting breast cancer, I was not prepared for that. I walked out of that office, I remember, just in a daze. I was just so dumbfounded and had no idea what I was really going to have to go through. My grandparents' decline, how the end of their life, we were not prepared for that. And I don't know, I think you can prepare for some things, like monetary, you can save your money, so if something happens and you need money, you have it. But as far as like life circumstances, I don't think you can really prepare yourself totally. You can't. You just can't. So I hope you guys enjoyed this face-to-face video and that you all have a fantastic Wednesday. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.